On July 2nd, 1937, a woman's voice crackled across a radio frequency above the vast Pacific Ocean. "We are running north and south." Those would be the last confirmed words ever heard from Amelia Earhart. No distress call, no explosion, no wreckage found, just silence. To this day, her disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in modern history. How could the most famous woman pilot in the world vanish along with her plane without a trace? Was it a simple navigation error, a fuel miscalculation, a crash into the endless ocean, or something far more secret and far more disturbing? Tonight, we are not just telling a story, we are reopening a mystery. And this is the true story of Amelia Earhart, her life, her achievements, her final flight, and the unanswered questions that still haunt aviation history. Okay, so if you are liking our videos, please subscribe the channel so you never missed out. When Amelia failed to arrive at Howland Island, concerns spread rapidly. Hours passed, then days. News of her disappearance dominated headlines worldwide. Amelia Earhart was not just missing, she was a global symbol. Her disappearance felt personal to millions. How could the most famous woman pilot on Earth vanish without a trace? Amelia Mary Earhart was born on July 24, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas. The town was small, quiet, and traditional, nothing like the life Amelia would later lead. From childhood, she showed curiosity, fearlessness, and independence. These traits would eventually place her among history's greatest explorers. Unlike most girls of her era, Amelia rejected social expectations. She preferred climbing trees, exploring outdoors, and building things with her hands. She dreamed of adventure and freedom. Even as a child, she resisted being told what she could or could not do. Amelia's family struggled financially, and her father battled alcoholism. Frequent moves created instability and uncertainty. But these hardships strengthened Amelia's resilience. She learned independence early and relied on herself. In 1920, Amelia experienced her first airplane ride at an air show. The flight was brief, but the impact was permanent. As soon as the plane landed, Amelia knew her life had changed. She later said that once she left the ground, she knew she had to fly. Determined to become a pilot, Amelia worked multiple jobs to afford flying lessons. And she trained under Anita Snook, one of the few female flight instructors at the time. Amelia showed discipline, focus, and natural ability. Flying was no longer a dream, it was a mission. In 1922, Amelia flew higher than any woman before her, setting a new altitude record. This achievement placed her on the radar of aviation circles. She was no longer just learning, she was leading. In 1928, Amelia was invited to join a transatlantic flight from North America to Europe. She would travel as a passenger, not the pilot. Despite this, the flight would change her life forever. The media celebrated Amelia as the first woman to cross the Atlantic by air. She became instantly famous, but privately, she felt incomplete. She believed true achievement required action, not symbolism. In 1932, Amelia set out alone across the Atlantic Ocean. No company pilot, no navigator. Only skill, courage, and determination separated her from disaster. During the flight, Amelia faced extreme cold, exhaustion, and mechanical problems. Ice formed on the wings, her engine sputtered. She pressed on, knowing turning back was not an option. After nearly several hours, Amelia landed safely in Ireland. She had done what no woman had ever done before. She became a global icon, not because she was a woman, but because she was fearless. Later that year, Amelia flew solo across the United States, from California to New Jersey. This non-stop flight proved her consistency and endurance. She was no longer an exception, she was elite. Amelia used her fame to advocate for women in aviation. She lectured, wrote books, and encouraged independence. Her influence extended far beyond the cockpit. In 1937, Amelia announced her boldest goal yet, a flight around the world along the equator. This route was longer and more dangerous than any previous attempt. She believed the challenge was worth the risk. And to Amelia, this flight was about progress. She wanted to push aviation forward and inspire future generations. Failure was possible, but fear was not an option. Amelia selected a Lockheed Electra 10E. The aircraft was modern and powerful, but heavily modified for long distances. Extra fuel tanks filled much of the cabin. And the added fuel increased range, but made the plane heavier and harder to control. Takeoffs became more dangerous. Precision now mattered more than ever. Amelia chose Fred Noonan as her navigator. He had extensive experience with long-distance ocean navigation. Together, they formed a skilled but vulnerable team. Noonan relied on celestial navigation. Clear skies were essential, but the Pacific was unpredictable. Clouds could erase their position completely. First wall flight attempt ended abruptly after a runway accident in Hawaii. The plane was damaged, and critics urged Amelia to stop. She refused. After repairs, Amelia chose to fly eastward instead of westward. This decision placed the most dangerous leg at the end of the journey. History would later question this choice. By June 1937, Amelia and Noonan had flown over 22,000 miles. They reached Lae, New Guinea, exhausted but determined. Only one major leg remained. And the flight to Howland Island crossed thousands of miles of open ocean. No emergency landing options existed. Mistakes would be fatal. Howland Island was tiny, barely visible from the air. Finding it required perfect navigation and timing. Missing it meant disaster. The U.S. Coast Guard ship Itasca waited near Howland Island to guide Amelia by radio. But radio technology was unreliable and frequencies missed. Communication problems began immediately. On July 2nd, 1937, Amelia and Fred took off from Lae. They flew into darkness, clouds, and uncertainty. Fuel calculations were tight. Amelia could hear the Itasca clearly. The Itasca could barely hear her. Miscommunication increased confusion and anxiety. As hours passed, fuel burned steadily. Navigation errors became more dangerous. Time was running out. Amelia reported flying north and south along a navigation line. This meant they were lost but still searching. Moments later, the radio fell silent forever. The US launched the largest search in history at the time. Ships and aircraft scanned millions of square miles. Hope slowly faded. After 16 days, the search was called off, and no confirmed wreckage was discovered. The mystery deepened. Radio operators later reported hearing distress messages. These signals suggested Amelia may have survived briefly after landing somewhere, but nothing was confirmed. The castaway theory, crash and sink explanation, and capture theories remain unresolved. No single answer satisfies all evidence. Amelia Earhart's legacy endures as a pioneer, an icon, and a symbol of fearless exploration. If this mystery fascinates you, and if unanswered questions pull at your curiosity, remember this: the sky Amelia conquered was once believed unreachable. She reached it anyway. Before ending up, please subscribe to the channel for more absorbing content. Thanks.